Let's check in on the coronavirus situation right around the world. Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the UK has been taken to hospital after showing persistent symptoms of coronavirus. Number 10 insists the move is just a precautionary step. It comes after the Queen delivered a rare address to the public, urging Britons to maintain social distancing procedures. The US Surgeon General has warned this week will be a Pearl Harbor or 9/11 moment for the country. The growth of death tolls in Spain, France and Italy has slowed overnight, a sign Western Europe may have reached the peak of its infection curve. Singapore has recorded its most infections in a single day. Here's a breakdown of the number of cases per million people. You can see here that it is hopefully coming up on your screen soon. Yep, Spain leading the way, Italy following behind, not too far. Belgium, 1,699 cases there. France, 1,378. Germany clocking in at 1,194. And that's ahead of the USA at 1,002 cases per million people. Now, they are somewhat behind mainland Europe, and so that is something that they'll be watching very closely. It seems like those peaks may have been reached, at least in the first tranche of this. In those countries, let's check in on the number of fatalities per million people. That's another important metric to keep track of. You can see there Spain leading the way at 270, just ahead of Italy on 263. Belgium and France well behind there in the hundreds, the UK 73 and the USA 29. Again, they're quite far behind on the curve. So we'll keep track of those numbers for you so you can stay informed. In the meantime, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's cautiously optimistic the country's 4-week lockdown is working. Live to New Zealand correspondent Jackson Williams for more. Jackson, the Prime Minister believes the lockdown's making a difference.
Yeah, Jacinda Ardern says that's because the majority of New Zealanders are doing an amazing job at complying with the lockdown. But Jacinda Ardern has hit out at the minority who are ignoring the restrictions, the Prime Minister labelling them as idiots. But despite those rule breakers, the restrictions in place in New Zealand appear to be slowing COVID-19 infections. We're certainly not experiencing the exponential growth here in New Zealand that many other countries are. So far, there have been 1,039 probable or confirmed cases of coronavirus recorded in the country. The Prime Minister says what is encouraging is that the number of new cases being recorded is actually stabilising, and that what she wants to see, what everyone wants to see, is that the number of new cases go down. We're approaching the halfway mark of the 4-week nationwide lockdown. The Prime Minister says it's still too early to say whether the restrictions will need to be extended. The Prime Minister says there are 3 key factors that will determine that outcome.
I'll be looking at the rate of increase in New Zealand, so what our increase in case numbers are telling us. I'll also be looking at our community transmission. At the moment, our rates there aren't too bad, but that's an area where we really need to make sure we've got control. And the third area is just going out and doing a bit more surveillance testing.
That surveillance testing, Annalise, the Prime Minister refers to, will start very soon. It will take the form of random tests in specific areas, perhaps health officials going door to door and conducting tests on individuals.